Most important rule tonight, this is going to be interesting. Voting for the best reflection photographer should reflect the theme, not necessarily your favorite photo. But what makes a good reflection photo? What did you learn from the articles? I found this to be one of the more interesting ones we've ever done. Are there rules? I'm just going to go through these really fast and kind of leave it open for you guys to talk about. It's often nice to add a reflection to photo, but what makes reflection stand out? Here's about 4 or 5 that I got from those articles. Some of the articles say balance. You want the picture to have balance. Is that really necessary? Sharp reflection. Does the reflection need to be tacked sharp? Does the reflection need to be symmetrical? What is it that's reflected? Should it be the reflection of a mirror? Should it be leading lines? Should it be attempt to get your attention? And what photo gear helped you create your reflection? Is a polarizing filter good? Did you use a telephoto or a wide angle? Does shooting close to the ground help? So before we start you start seeing these pictures, what do you think are the important things that a reflection photo should have?
I'll say something.
Go ahead.
I think any photo in any of our themes should be a good photo using all the rules that make a good photo. You know, they need to be balanced and what all the other rules that make a good photo, I think should apply to any photo in any theme that we do in any month. And I kind of realized that last month when we did abstract. You know, the best abstract pictures were the ones that were good pictures, period. Not just good abstract pictures, but really good pictures.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, on those first 2, this is more of a comment about a photograph I looked at. This photographer, a professional photographer, had this photo there, and I was looking at it, and I went, and he goes, "That's a reflection." And I went, "What?" It was so sharp, but he had cropped it where all you saw was the reflection and printed it upside down. And he didn't understand. I'm like, well, nobody will know that's a reflection. I mean, it's just the photo of the mountain, but you can't tell it's a reflection. It was one of the strangest things. He kept going, well, people will be wowed by this. It's a reflection. And I'm like, I don't think they're going to notice it. Yeah, so this whole balance and sharp thing, he totally missed those 2.
But did he? I have had kind of similar things as I've looked through the pictures that you guys are going to look through. Does it need to be balanced, or can it just be one thing?
Oh, well, I guess you could say, did he have a good photograph? But if you ask the question, was that an interesting photograph using a reflection? I don't think you could figure out his reflection unless he told you. You got to just like stare at it and go, oh, okay, I see a little, maybe a hair of a ripple in this water. And like I said, the way he cropped it, you couldn't see the subject. And then he flipped it upside down and printed it. Anyhow.
I looked at a lot of reflection photographs online, and I have to say that the ones that to me were the most compelling didn't necessarily reflect any of those elements of at least the first 3. The most creative ones and the ones that really caught my eye didn't have balanced, sharp reflection, and they weren't symmetrical.
Sue, what was it that made them good, though? No, I'm not arguing with you. I agree with you. But what is it that makes them a good reflection photo?
Subject.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, it was the subject. In a lot of cases, it was, to me, a creative angle on something. And the most important thing, similar to what David was bringing up, was that it was obvious that there was a reflection, but it didn't, but they didn't have to have balance, it didn't have to be sharp, and it didn't have to be symmetrical.
Okay, Ben, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I think again, subject composition. If it's a landscape, do you want to balance the mountains of Schwabeckers, or maybe you're going to add something. I've seen reflections that are color on the top side and black and white below, and
Oh,
vice
wow.
versa. And vice versa. So I think it's how your image in your mind's eye and how you compose it, and that make the impact. Balance helps sometimes, sharpness maybe, but I don't know that that's the cookbook recipe that always works.
I was kind of surprised by this because for so many of the themes, the monthly themes we've had, say in the last year, there was pretty clear, you should follow this. Abstract maybe is the exception to that.
Yeah.
But by the time I got I think there's 10 or 12 pictures, I realized there were some that didn't follow these 5, but were really good examples of reflection photos.
And sometimes reflection's not even, whatever's being reflected is not even in the foreground or the background.
Right. But it gets your
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did anyone happen to notice the photo in today's Jackson Hole Daily of a reflection in a car mirror?
Yes,
You saw who
Yeah.
somebody.
yeah,
It was not a gorgeous photo, but I thought it was a clever idea that someone did. If any of you have the Daily, look at it. It's a reflection in the rear view mirror of a car of the mountains, and elk are in the foreground.
Oh, wow.
It was-
Actually, are you still in Carolina?
I'm still in Carolina. Next month I will be in Jackson.
Well, when being here for the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've had hardly had any sunny days. And I was thinking I should be looking for some really weird ones. I never found one, but those kinds that have a mirror, whatever, it's very different. And I think you all are going to see some very different photos. So let's move on. So this theme seems like a whole new ball game to me. And you've kind of said something about it already. Here's the things we look for normally: composition, exposure, clarity, theme. Funny that I can't, for those of you who've been around for a while, I have had a number of, I've asked you to send me the not so good photos. So we could say, oh, what you didn't like about it. Guys, I got about 3 or 4 sent to me, but they were all good. It actually was hard to find because people said, oh, use this as an example. And a couple of them, the example was only good because, or not good, was because it wasn't shot in the last month. Let's take a look at these. Oops. Okay, here's one. What do you think about this photo?
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I do too. It's interesting.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
a re-
ice? Is that ice?
Look at it with
Yeah.
Charlotte is looking up with, how did they do that?
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, it's pretty obvious what it is, but how did they get that?
Shot on a frozen lake or frozen stream or
And the middle of it's not frozen.
right, exactly.
And then
I
it
think
had to be
of-
turned upside
Yeah, they
down.
turned it upside down, didn't they?
No,
I don't know. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I think they would have to, right?
no, you just don't have the actual mountains showing.
But
So
the-
there's,
No, no,
they'd
no,
have
no,
to be
no.
upside down.
Yeah, but it'd have to be upside down if that's the reflection.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
have to
maybe
be.
so.
Oh, right, right,
Yeah, yeah, it would be if it was reflection.
right.
but to me,
This is
that's
actually Tim Abbasi's. He sent it to me and he said he didn't think he could come tonight. But I thought, wow, this is such an interesting photo, but he took it 2 years ago.
so it's not symmetrical, it's not balanced. Parts of it are not sharp, and to me, it's a compelling image.
It is.
It's
Exactly.
pretty sharp.
Yeah.
I
When I
think
saw this, it's
reflection,
like, wow. And another thing about this for me was, how did he do that? It took me a while to figure out that, yeah, that was a part of a lake that was the ice that probably was overnight. It still had it in the middle, but that's a clear reflection, a quality reflection photo. Okay, how about this one?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the bean.
Have you been to Chicago?
I was just there last weekend.
Oh, you're close, Kathy.
That's really cool.
And it's actually in real life cooler when you're there than seeing this picture.
Mhm.
It's so huge. Oh my God.
Yeah, I
What
would-
makes it a good reflection photograph?
I think so.
Was that
love
supposed to
But what
be,
is it that makes it a good reflection?
it's interesting and it's not well balanced and it's not symmetrical. It's creative. And I think that reflection photos are very similar to abstract photos where you can throw a lot of those rules out the window.
I would agree. But I wouldn't have agreed a week ago. But after I've looked at all these pictures, it's like, yeah, I really like that, but it doesn't fit the rules.
Well, you know what Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean said. They're more guidelines than rules.
well, I don't know why it doesn't fit the rules. Why doesn't it fit the rules?
It's clear.
Very
Yeah.
clear reflection.
Yeah, it is clear.
It's definitely reflecting something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why is it not a reflection?
It's definitely a reflection.
It was
And it's
taken,
very
it was
sharp.
taken some number of years ago. That's why it doesn't fit the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's sharp from close up, the people on the ground there, all the way to the buildings beyond. And it's, in a sense, if you've ever been there, you might think, oh, well, the buildings behind it kind of are interference, but they're not really. It just
No.
shows you where it is.
Yeah. But you
And you
could
could
crop
take
it
a
in.
picture
and-
of this from the other side
Yeah.
using Lake Michigan as the background, but I think the
It's not
buildings
that close to
actually
the
add to
lake.
it.
But I also like it because it's this very organic shape.
Mm,
Behind it, there are these, hard edged
Yeah.
shape of the building.
Right,
So to me,
right.
more that it's creative and compelling.
Yeah.
And it does have a reflection in it. I would pick this over probably a lot of photographs that followed the rules we had. They might
Yeah.
look dull by comparison.
So if you go to Chicago, go down to the actual park. Rick, what's the name of the park there?
Millennium Park.
Millennium Park, and see this, because you can walk underneath it where you see the reflection. It's really, really cool.
It is cool.
Okay, last one.
Yeah, just don't be there when the aliens come out.
Okay, now, what criteria do you use to decide a photo is a reflection? You don't have to say it, just think about it. Okay, what about this now? Is that a reflection photo?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure it is.
What do you like
Absolutely.
most about that one?
Color.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I like the
distortion
fascinating
of,
too.
of the lines
Yeah.
in the reflection.
color's
It's-
good.
Yeah, it's a crazy symmetry.
And for me, I'm thinking, what is a reflection of? What's like behind me that it raises lots of questions for me. That's what I like about this one.
It looks a little like a Greek alphabet or something.
Yeah. it
Yeah,
does.
It's
More
an-
like a mosaic.
It's an abstract reflection. It's an abstract reflection.
It's beautiful.
It's a reflection of another building, obviously.
It's,
Or a reflection of a reflection.
Maybe.
I mean, it could be.
and there's something that really adds to it for me, is that on the right-hand side is this building, old building that's there. I guess it's an old building. And that makes me wonder, where is this? Because if it was just a square, this square here, it wouldn't be nearly as neat for me as with that building being there, is making me ask myself, where is this coming from? It just grabs me a lot. I really like this photograph.
so the building on this, I sent this in, the building on the right is what was Marshall Fields, is now Macy's. And that's what's reflecting into the modern building. I wanted to submit this, but I thought it was too abstract, and I don't have the tools to adjust the tilt of the building, so I didn't want to submit it without being able to do that, correct that.
I really like it,
Yeah.
Kathy.
What I like about
Yeah.
that building there is that the real building is that it's a really interesting reference point.
Yeah, I like that too, and just the fact that I knew what historic building it was, you know. Do the trees at the bottom bother any of you?
Didn't even see them. Where are they?
I didn't
No.
even see him either.
Okay,
No.
What is it reflecting, Kathy?
the building on the right, which is Marshall Fields.
Is that the windows of that?
Yeah, there's windows and yeah, I mean, yeah.
Wow.
The glass on that new building must be distorted in
Well,
some
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
No. I don't know what makes it so distorted, to be honest.
Well, yeah, glass is never perfectly flat,
Right.
Flat,
especially
yeah.
once it sits there for a while. Glass actually moves over time.
And I think it's interesting that, like, to the 1/3 on the left, for some reason is different than the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one on the right is white.
Right.
Looks like bones
I
or
don't know.
something.
I guess it's just the way the light was reflecting off the buildings.
Okay, so now we know that there aren't any real clear rules on this. There's all kinds of different reflections, and you're going to see if we've got 12 photos that are the most different 12 I think we've ever had. So we've already talked about this. Wait a second here. Okay, we've got 12 photos. So that means everybody gets 4 votes. So who do we have? Kathleen, you haven't done this before, have you?
No, I've not.
Okay, this is how this works. I'm going to show you 12 images. And the first round, you've got 4 votes. And you
Okay.
send your votes to David in the chat room. All you need to do is put David, go to the chat for David, and then put, let's say it's number 1, comma, number 11, comma. So
Okay.
you get 4 votes, and to try to do those right away. But I'll show you these photos for a while so you get a chance to do that. When we're done, when David gives us what the top 3 or 4 or 5 of the 12 are, then we'll give feedback, a critique of the original, of the people that didn't make the final round, because there's always a final round to pick what's the very first picture, the very second picture, etc. So try to get, I'll give you plenty of time to see these pictures. Stop sharing that. And I'll go to this screen. This Lightroom. Share this. Okay, now I always have trouble with this. Can you see? Let's see. Do you
There you
see
go.
all of these pictures?
Yeah,
Yes,
So now do you see only this one?
yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Your bar is still there, Randy.
pardon?
That top bar is still there.
Okay, wait a second here. All right, that should be it. All righty, any questions? Here we go. This is number one. I'll give you each of these 5-10 seconds. And after I've gone through them all over again, you can see them all at once, and then we'll do it one more time. This
Randy,
is
can you
number-
make them full screen? Because
This
make them
this
full
isn't full screen?
Yeah, it looks full screen to me. It's a vertical, so there's bars
Yes.
on the side.
There might be something cut at the top. I hope not. This is number one. This is number two. This is number three. This is number four. This is number five. This is number six. This is number seven. This is number eight. This is number nine. This is number 10. This is number 11. This is number 12. Here are all 12 of them. I'm going to show them to you again to help you with those finals. Isn't this amazing how different these are? I thought reflection photos would be similar. They are not similar at all. Okay. There's number one. Number two. Number three. Number four. Number five. Number six. Number seven. Number eight. Number nine. Number 10. Number 11. Number 12. Okay, everybody, send in your votes. Got to be patient with David because he's got to get this all organized.
Yeah, send them to me and be sure to use commas.
Yes. Make those numbers real clear. Remember, you get four, each person gets 4 votes for this round. On the next round, when we get down to the final 3 or 4 or 5, you only get 1 vote.
While we're all quiet and waiting, I should have said this earlier. As far as the Randy's versions of the PMP website, if you want to look at a reimagined version of it that I put together, put down this address, peermentorprogram.myportfolio.com. Has the same content. It's just a little organized slightly differently and a little more modern looking interface. Thank you.
Rick, if you send that address to me when I send out the email, either tomorrow or if I do it next week, I'll be glad to put it in there.
Will do.
Oh, I can actually. No, I can't. So now for your essay exam for the peer mentor program, I'm going to ask you, what makes a good reflection photo? And you're going to have to grade somebody else's because I can't grade that.
Kathleen, you need to send it to David Navratil.
Yeah,
Not
no, I
to
figured
me.
that out. I figured it out. I sent him one too. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. I like your
Technically
votes.
challenged.
So Randy, what are we looking for?
The top 4. Well, no, it could be the top 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. I have no idea what the voting will be like for this. That's always a nice thing for me, Kathleen. That's one thing. I never vote because I know whose these are.
Oh, that
it
makes
easy
sense.
for me
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't know who to vote for.
Hey, Randy,
Well,
maybe what we need to do one day is have the pictures up and guess who took the picture.
That might be fun. That might be fun, yeah. I mean, there are some that you could probably guess at, but
Does this mean you think we're starting to get predictable?
Or maybe that we are all developing a style.
There you go. Way to go, Charlie.
So
Put the
I can
pictures
tell
up
when
and
the
put the
voting
names
goes
off to the
slowly,
side.
we have a lot of ties evidently. So Randy, I'm going to give you 6.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Wow.
Make sure I got this right. 3, 5,
Whoa, okay, okay,
8,
okay.
9, 11, and 12.
Okay. Really? Okay. So let's see, it's 3, 5.
And just so everybody knows, in the interest of full disclosure, we've got 3 tied and then 3 more ties. So if we actually did ties and top 4, we'd have almost everybody in the.
Wait a minute.
We'd be right where we were, but so
11.
yeah, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11, and 12. That should be 6, right?
Okay. So filter rated 1. Now we can make these a little bit bigger. Now, Kathleen, everybody might know this, but I got to tell you, the numbers have now changed.
Okay, got it.
But
So
Randy, aren't
All
we
right,
going
yeah.
to discuss the others?
yes, we are. Oh, wait a second here. Oh, here, gotta get, thank you. Okay. So yes, thank you, Charlotte. So we will now go through 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 10. Okay, and let me. Okay, critique this one. What do you like? What do you wish was different? What would you change of this one?
I love this photo.
Yeah.
I do
I
too.
think it was a classic example of a reflection, and it just has that antique quality to it, almost like an old painting. It's just mysterious. I really liked it.
Yeah, extremely
Very
moody. Yeah.
Evocative of, yeah, it's wonderful.
Anything you would do different if it were yours? And now you've got the Lightroom that you can do all kinds of things with.
Yeah, it's a little dark on the bottom right. That would be the only thing I could think of to say.
Yeah, I really like this. And
Yeah, I do too. I like it a lot. I don't mean to say I don't like it. I think it's really lovely.
yeah,
I think I would be tempted to make it square, not rectangular, to cut out the bottom part, because that would kind of get rid of that lower right-hand corner. Because it's not equally the upper left-hand corner. That's just kind of me.
But
I
I
like-
like that blackness in the lower right kind of adds to the mood of the photograph.
I would
Yeah.
agree, because I think the limbs coming out of the blackness seem to grow out of it.
Yeah.
It gives it some growth. Maybe a little more contrast, sharpen up the line, the distinction between the dark and the light. I don't know, but I
What
just like
about-
Because when you were saying that, I thought, oh, well, God, maybe the sky should be a little blue. And then I thought, maybe it'd be even better if it was purely black and white.
No, I like the little bit of blue.
Yeah, I like the mood the way it is. I think just lighten it a little bit.
Yeah.
Whose photograph is it?
It's mine. And I actually tried lightening it a bit, and it actually lost that, whatever that kind of moody quality was.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I wish I could have done was those branches in the upper right that are the actual branches. And you can see some of them along the right side. I would have loved to have lightened them a little bit more as contrast, but doing them twig by twig wasn't possible.
Oh, boy, that would take you a while. Okay. What about this one?
I love that one.
I love that
It's
too.
so pretty.
What did you like? What did you love about it?
Fairly simple composition, but the reflection right in the middle there just stands out so nicely.
Yeah.
I agree with you. This was one of my favorites. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
vote, so
Yeah,
it just grabs my eye
yeah.
that ice is melted there. And then he caught it, that was really in it.
And you can see all the little dots where it's melting on the other
Yeah.
strips.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just stunning.
I agree.
And the mountains are just have enough light, very little, so you know there are mountains there and it's not just a shadow. But there's two things you want to look at, the sky and that
Mm, yeah,
pool. I love it.
yeah.
And who took that?
Ben? Ben still here?
That's
Thank you, Richard.
fabulous.
Oops.
Yeah, that's mine, believe it or not.
It's
No, I
gorgeous.
believe it.
Beautiful.
It's just gorgeous.
Hey,
The
black
color
and white,
over-
it just didn't resonate black and white.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
Colors,
that-
colors is what makes it.
Yeah,
But definitely
The
something.
hard, again, trying to get those little dots of orange in the feeder stream was
yeah.
what I was really trying to get. If I could have been about 10 feet taller, I think I would have got them. And
Yeah,
you'd have
that's
seen
Line going back to the mountains.
it would have been a river, it would have been a stream of fire.
Oh,
Is
like,
what
oh
was-
yeah.
would have-
Wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I love it, Ben.
Did you have a tripod?
Thank you. No, that's handheld with I think I was shooting with my 50 1.2.
Yeah.
Ben, did you wish you had a drone?
No, I won't break the law.
Where was this
That's right, it's
taken?
in the park.
This is at the dam.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
This is right at the dam.
God, it's just gorgeous.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can hang that on a wall and look at it for a long time.
yeah,
Now, it's a keeper.
yeah.
The only thing, if I had it, if it was mine, but I may be wrong on this, I feel like the horizon at the lake's edge is not perfectly horizontal. But the left seems to be a little lower than the right, but
Oh,
then now I'm
yeah.
getting real picky.
Yeah,
Well, as
That
I've
can
said
be
many
tweaked.
times, the earth is not always horizontal. So
Yeah.
no matter what
Okay.
Beth says.
Really, really nice shot. Okay.
Mm, I like that.
What do you like about it?
Except
Very
for in the reflection, it looks like a black and white, except for that green.
Yeah, the sky is very dull.
Yeah,
I think it's a good example of street photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, using reflection. Might have, I don't know, it'd be hard to crop it differently, but I wonder if you just,
And I like it that that guy is there and that he's just a worker and any old kind of guy. Without it, it wouldn't be nearly as catching to the eye for me.
you know what? It looks really cool if you turn it upside down.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like he's on a beach.
yeah.
Is there anything you guys would change?
I don't really know if I would change it, but I would have definitely played around with the cropping a little bit.
Where would you have, whatever would you have cropped out?
Well, I'm thinking about that. I might have just taken a little off the bottom and eliminated that. I don't know. I just have to play with it. It might not work.
I'd also try to, what is it, the perspective correction and in
Yeah,
light.
that's.
Yeah,
that
Just try it
third
and see what it does. I don't know if it would do anything or not, but
Yeah.
I'd try it.
or I might take some off the left, so it looks like he's not quite so centered.
Oh,
I don't know.
I was
Yeah,
wondering what it would look like if you, and I wouldn't know how to do this, but I would assume you could do it, is the bottom half, the reflection, if it was made into just black and white.
That would look neat.
Yeah.
A different way to catch your attention, because it's like, hey, how did he do that? In this case, how did she do that?
Turn the whole thing into black and white except for his vest.
There
Yes.
you
Oh, yeah.
I
Except
think
his,
black and white would be sharp,
Mm,
real contrasty too.
yeah.
Yeah, I think just a black and white would.
yeah, because now with the new Lightroom, you could easily make this a black and white, except for the guy in, not the reflection of the guy, but the guy. That would really make that stand out. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, you could take all your saturation and illumination out and just leave the green.
Yeah, yeah. There's all kinds of cool things you can do with that,
Yeah.
with that new Lightroom, that you can pick out the subject. Anything else you want to give feedback on?
Then whose photo?
Was-
I always leave it up to the person that took the photo.
It's mine, Kathy. I like you guys, the weather wasn't cooperating here in Cleveland, but we had this, I volunteer at the Port of Cleveland. I volunteer
Yeah.
there. And I saw this big puddle and I'm like, oh, I need reflections. So I walked around and tried to see what I could capture. I took a couple, there was a boat that was docked, but the puddle wasn't big enough to get a good composition of the ship. And there was a car over on the right, so I cropped it kind of tight on the right to crop out that car. I don't have, the only editing that I have is what I have it with my MacBook Pro. I don't have any Lightroom right now. What else? Oh, and then I did take a lot of reflections on the buildings in Chicago last weekend, but they all seemed pretty abstract to me. After reading the articles, I thought, yeah, they're too abstract, but I guess I should have submitted my building instead of this one.
They're just different, that's all.
Yeah.
All right,
So this is Cleveland.
Cleveland, this one. What do you say about this one? It's not, I have a hard time with this one.
I really like this one. It looks like a pastel painting to me.
Yeah.
I can tell it's a little ripply and I don't know, I just thought it was interesting.
Is that?
I don't dislike it, but I keep asking myself, how did this person take this picture?
They flipped it just like
They
David
flipped
said.
it upside down, yeah.
It
Yeah.
is the reflection, yeah.
But it doesn't show anything of the other side.
Right.
Well, it
But
it
the
shows you a
ripples,
reflective line.
but the ripples let you know
Yeah.
that it's definitely a reflection.
It's
Yeah.
the water.
But yeah, it does make it look like a, slightly impressionistic painting.
Yeah.
And if you weren't here with going to Schubacher's Landing a lot, if it was from someplace, from somebody else, from someplace, they probably wouldn't be able to figure it out. This is Tim's.
Yeah.
Tim Lavasi's.
Yeah, just going back to that other photograph I was mentioning, I know y'all can't see. Imagine they took even more off the bottom and the water
Yeah.
is so perfectly still.
Yeah,
And then but he titles it reflection and you're like, I don't see
yeah.
it.
I can tell
Oh,
this one's in a reflection.
Yeah, this one you can tell, but yeah, I don't know. He's a professional artist.
Okay, what about this one?
It's very peaceful. Like it.
Love those clouds.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is in California.
Really?
Yeah. And the person who took it isn't here.
I think the
Well, what is-
clouds make this photo.
Definitely.
But I would like to see a little more. I don't know if I'd want a little more or a little less taken off the right side.
Yeah.
Kind of the blob of gray clouds on the right doesn't, I don't know, it's a little distracting to me. But I don't know if cropping that would ruin
Well,
the feeling of it.
That's a good question, because yeah, I hadn't thought about it. That does give it some weight, but now you're taking away the buildings there. But
Not all of them.
yeah, and that maybe not isn't that important.
I just actually did, I held a piece of paper to look at cropping that out, and to me, that does actually improve it. To take out that one big cloud on the right, so they
yeah.
still have several buildings there.
Maybe then take out the singular cloud on the left.
On the
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no.
No, I don't know if I would do that. I think it just kind of takes your eye to follow the clouds, and I don't think that's such a bad thing. But I would wonder if you could move the horizon up just a hair. It feels too close in the middle for me.
Yeah, I would crop it more from the top, because I think the story is the reflection down below. So I would just crop it from the top.
Then you'd be cutting off the clouds too.
Yeah, I think that's okay, though.
Yeah, I was
One other
surprised that the
thing-
articles talk so much about keeping it symmetrical,
Yeah.
that I don't usually do that.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe pull back a little bit, maybe a little wider angle, get more of that leading line from right to left. And then crop it down again. I'm struggling with the cropping. Like I said, you bring it down from the top and lose the symmetry. I don't know. I like the picture.
I think that's
Yeah, but
kind of a
didn't do any
personal
crop.
preference, because there are, I mean, I don't like it all the time, but sometimes I like that horizon right in the middle.
Me too.
I
Oh,
do. in
hardly
this one.
ever like the horizon in the middle. And I think
Okay,
it's too much in the middle here.
this, actually, that was Beth's.
Still on.
Okay, 10. What do you think, guys?
Well, it's clearly a reflection. I would like to see it. It almost feels like the horizon is a little bit off, a little bit up on the right, if you follow the back line.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not sure that you need all of the sticks and twigs at the bottom.
The foreground?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
then
I think-
again, I would like to see something developed out of because it looks like there's some clouds up there that could maybe be developed.
Right.
And I'm curious of what it would look like not in a pure black and white, but giving it a little bit of some sort of color, even if it's a muted, not full on color, but something muted. So there's varying shades.
It's hard to know where they could stand or walk here, but if they could have shifted more to the right, I think it might have been a little more of a reflection and less foreground.
Or
was
if
think-
they could have gone forward and
Forward,
gotten
yeah,
closer
yeah.
to the water. But of course, it may be mud that might be
Right.
completely impossible, but I think that would make the photograph stronger.
Yeah, I feel like that moving up in one of in the articles that I read, that one of the articles was talking about the foreground, and I thought if you moved up, because it doesn't look like on the right corner here that it's real swampy. If you had gone way up to the front, gotten down low and used that front and the right-hand side, which does look swampy, you'd have had more reflection in the water of those trees.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest, what everybody's getting at is just, you need a little bit more reflection
Right.
when you're either
Yeah.
closer or higher, or, yeah.
And in the processing with the black and white, maybe play with the blue and or red filter, and
Yeah.
maybe bring out those clouds. Maybe a little more structure.
Because there are clouds there.
Yeah, they're there. Maybe a higher angle.
Yep, possible. Okay, that. All, wait a minute, 10, wait a second. 11 and 12. Oh, I missed I erased one of these. Okay.
Gigi,
Here
does your
are-
dog get a vote?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I'm sorry, David, what did you say?
I was just wondering if Gigi's dog was gonna vote.
Oh. Does he get a vote? Yeah.
Okay. That's, oops, rated 1. Now you've got these 6 photos left. Can I get rid of that? Okay, that's rid of that. Okay, here are, oh, I got to get rid of that. Oops, that. Here are the final 6 photos. Now, instead of 4 votes, you only get 1. So let's go through these close up, and everybody, and notice the change. Like this is 1, this is 2, but the change has happened a lot. Okay, well, dang. Okay, here's photo number 1. Photo number 2. Photo number 3. Photo number 4. Photo number 5. Photo number 6. Okay, I'll show them to you one more time. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Okay, send your votes to David.
is a hard one.
Randy,
Yes.
while we're thinking, I sent you a second email with a link to Reimagine Old TPC site. When I
Say that
clicked
again.
as well. I sent you a link to the Peer Mentor Reimagine site. I also sent you one for the whole TPC site as well.
Oh, well, we'll have to talk about it later, okay? How are we doing, David?
I'm just recounting.
How many people do we actually, oh, we have 13. So I'm missing some people here.
Okay,
Have any ties?
we have a tie for third.
Okay,
And that is number 2 and number 4.
number 2, this is third place. 2 and number 4. Okay, let's critique these two, 2 and number 4. Okay. What about this one?
I think it checks all the boxes.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's a beautiful reflection and beautiful scene.
Yep. Sharp, it's balanced, it's symmetrical. I like the leading line from the lower left towards the upper, towards the center right.
The snow?
Yep.
It could go on a wall.
Did the snow on the lower left be lightened up?
That to the world, or
Mhm.
did you say it to the world?
Mhm.
I don't know, that's a compliment at all. It's not
No,
an
I think
insult.
it's fine.
Oh, you
People
do?
take that as, I would take that as an insult. Really? Yeah. Why? Ain't going on a wall.
If you lightened it, it wouldn't
Tell
look
her.
real.
Anything else?
It'll make it more symmetrical. What I had was, you lose this part, so
What's this part?
Don't know who was speaking there.
This was mine. And it was 10 degrees and I had to walk all the way down there. Is Schwabacher's open now?
No,
It's
Not yet.
still- It's a pretty long hike when it's cold like that. Okay. What about this one?
I think this is a very well executed shot. Very.
Yes, no distraction, very
Yeah.
simple, nice texture.
Yeah, I think the lighting is impeccable.
Yeah.
Yes, lighting is
Very
beautiful.
sharp.
And the reflection is clearly a reflection.
It's a little bit of a disadvantage for this photo because we don't know where the photo ends because it's against a black background. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it
You'd like a
almost
background to it?
it almost needs a little white stroke or something around it.
Well, it's subtle, Charlotte.
Yeah, yes, I just think it was disadvantaged because on our screen, we don't know where it begins and
So it could be a horizontal picture, or it could be a vertical picture.
right. Yeah, because it's,
I actually like that about it.
I do too.
I think
I
the
like that.
rose stands alone
Yeah,
in its beauty.
I agree. It's a perfect rose too.
I like it that way too, that it just goes off into Neverland.
well, is it a horizontal photograph or a vertical?
Let me see.
It's a vertical.
There you can see it, Charlotte. It's got a frame.
Right.
Yeah, when rain, yeah, if you show it, but you're actually making it look a little more lost in the blackness than it is in the actual photograph.
Because it has the frame around.
That's what I was trying to say, David, but I just couldn't say it. Couldn't get the words out.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at it right there. I mean, well,
Yeah, it does have a frame to it.
Yes.
I think it's probably got something to do with Randy's Lightroom settings as far as
Yeah.
the play goes.
he's got
Yeah,
the
just
sidebars.
just the black, but I made it all black intentionally. It's pretty dark background, but I did decrease. I wiped everything out in the background, so all you could see was black except for the rose.
Yeah, I just think
I
when
really
Randy
like
goes
that.
Yeah,
full
you did a great
screen,
job.
he's making it look like a totally different crop than the way you actually have it framed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So it
Randy-
was shot vertical and not cropped very much at all, actually. It's just sitting on my iPad is what the reflection is.
Okay, what about second place, David?
Number one.
Okay, wait a second. I'll do this. 2. And number one is 2. Okay, what do you think of this?
I love this. I just think that is just amazing. The reflection of not only of the white, I think it's a tulip itself, but also just all of the colors as they swirl underneath it. I'm not sure how that was shot, but that's a great reflection.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it was shot because I agree with you. I really think this is a spectacular piece.
It's got just enough color in it. You know, the flower is the star of the show, but I love that kind of mauve that's woven through there. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, I think it's really, really pretty too.
I
I
usually wouldn't like
even change anything.
I usually wouldn't like a photo that has so many colors of such a small picture. But if it wasn't white, that it's white like that, it just jumps out at me. Both the tulip itself and the reflection of it. The colors make a great background, I think.
Just very artistic.
Yeah.
It is. And it's hard to tell where things begin and end, but I like that about it. You really have to look at it.
Charlotte, is that yours?
This is my photograph.
I had a feeling it was.
I'm here surrounded by forests and no water. And I was struggling. I was taking self-portraits in the eye of a horse. That was the one I almost sent. But then this was a bouquet, and the tulip had collapsed down onto the table that it was on. And so I got some mylar that I have, some silver mylar, and slipped it under the tulip. And so all those colors around the tulip are the flowers above it that are still in the vase. And thank you for your kind words.
Oh, wow.
And I have to ask you, Charlotte, did you do something to the tulip itself? It almost looks posterized.
I
Which I think is
probably
really
sharpened
cool.
it too much. I did some sharpening on it.
Although it's a really interesting effect, I think. I mean, it makes the whole thing look like, if you hadn't done that, well, it makes the whole thing look like a painting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I went in and sharpened just the tulip and the tulip reflection and left the rest of it the way it was.
Well, I'm glad you did, because I think it's a really, I've been wanting to ask you, whoever did it, what did they do to the flower? So just sharpening, huh? That's really cool.
That's all, just sharpening.
I thought this picture was taken on a glass table because the foreground is all blurry. And I thought, oh, that's really far away. And that was the reflection of it, but it's not that way, right?
No, I just slipped the silvery paper up under the flower and kind of halfway up the vase, and then the flowers in the vase above it are what are reflecting down at the bottom of the photograph.
Yeah, it's clever, and yeah, it's really beautiful. So.
Oh, don't you wish you could have seen my self-portrait in the eye of the horse?
You can send it to us.
Okay, which is the number one?
Drum roll, number 5.
Number 5.
Oh,
Okay, what do you like about this?
not the subject,
Guys,
that's for
gals?
Handsome guy.
Let's guess who this is.
sure.
Wow, that's Lewis. He took it of himself.
Is that a
No.
No, not a selfie.
I'm looking for the photographer. I don't see him.
How much did you have to pay your model?
That model had to go through some
I don't know.
serious weather.
That's a really hard question to answer.
Years of accounting.
What do you guys like about it?
The conveyance of cold.
Yeah.
It was.
And it's so effective in black and white. I assume
Yep.
that
It's 40 miles north of the Arctic Circle, if you want to know how cold it was.
That's where you were?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I still can't quite figure out the reflection.
So
Yeah.
the reflection is, we were in Baffin Island and those are sleds that we're being pulled around in. So 2 people per sled and they're pulled by snowmobiles. So I had a long lens on and caught Lewis walking back and the sleds were reflected in his goggles. I just thought it was pretty cool.
It is
Yeah.
pretty
Very
cool.
cool.
well, I can't see you. Are you back in the sled with the telephoto lens?
I am. I'm either back in the sled or that might be my shadow that's in between the 2 of them.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Okay.
It's really fascinating that we can't see the camera
Yeah.
that took it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, again, I think a lot like the picture from Chicago, the convex lens that on the goggles, everything's pretty sharp and straightforward, but now you have this bending. I think it really adds to it.
Thanks.
Did that make sense?
Yes. Kind of distorts everything a little bit. And
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, given these, almost all of these pictures, but definitely the ones that made it to the second round, all 6 of these, I think that a really important thing in reflection photographs is when it gets you to start thinking about, well, where was this, or what's happening here, or there's questions that you can't quite answer because of the reflections. This is an interesting, very interesting topic, theme, challenging. Good pictures, really good
Are we
pictures.
going to talk about the other two?
Yeah, let's talk about the other two.
Okay, yes, let's start here.
So this was also, the other two tied also.
Oh, really?
Oh,
So they're
really
tied
like
for
this one.
4th place?
Yeah. I tell you, this shot, I really like. And I was just, I would do something like, there was just a little bit more color in this, you know, turn it up to saturation or something. I would have, and maybe take off a little off the left. I thought it was a really cool shot.
It has kind of a Monet feel to it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very painterly.
Yeah.
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 I liked it for that reason.
Yeah, that guy Monet knew what he was doing.
And I like the variety of color in it. All different types of color. Even in the lower right hand, it's a little bit violet that's there, but lots of color
Yeah.
and white.
And it's abstracty, but you can tell what it is, you know, where
Right.
you know, it looks like snow and pine tree and another tree.
Yep.
So that was mine.
Where did you take it, Gigi?
I took it, you know where the Rustic Inn in Jackson is? They have a little nature
Yeah.
trail through there. And there's some ponds back there. So I took it along the ponds.
Cool.
And so that's the white is snow, obviously. And then, yeah, just like you said, the trees and the rocks are down at the bottom that are looking kind of magenta.
Yeah. Very
That's
different.
really cool back there. I've never been back there. And then I wouldn't have gone back there except for this assignment. So I'm glad I did. It was kind of cool
If
back there.
nothing else, these monthly themes get you to go places you've never been before, even if
Exactly.
they're only a block
Yeah.
away from your house.
Fun Island.
Okay, and this one.
I think, yeah, this was sort of like the one we talked about earlier, but it has a nice abstract feel to it.
Kind of makes you wonder, you know, why there are 3 of them like that. They all look the same. But I take it that's 3 different parts of a building.
Or is it that they're at an angle so they keep looking at one building across
And maybe, yeah, I
behind
don't
you?
know.
Becky, where did you take this?
This was taken in beautiful downtown Boise, Idaho. And it was up a building up near the Capitol, and it is one building. And it had that repetitive architectural feature to it. And like we talked about the other building at the very beginning, you know, glass is not flat, and you get those distorted images taking reflections of buildings like that.
And
That's
slightly
really
different colored
interesting.
with the windows and the sky.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Oh, shoot. Now they want me to do something here. Okay. We don't have time for answering that question, but we do have time for Candy to choose the monthly theme. Oh, I didn't change the top. It may be the May theme, if somebody calls me and wants to run this in May, or it'll be the June theme. Well, I'll let you know when, but we need Candy to choose one of those.
Are you gonna put the list up?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get,
Nope.
wait a second here. Oh, shoot.
While he's doing that, Louis, I caved and got a haircut and trimmed the beard.
Oh, wait a second. Where, shoot. Got to get this up. Ah, here we go.
What were you shooting on Baffin Island?
Polar bears.
Oh,
Well, everything that we saw, but we went there
Mostly saw polar bears.
went to see polar bears.
And ice, lots of ice. Mountains.
Yeah.
Okay.
We will look for those in the wildlife context.
Right.
It's possible.
It is North America.
Possible, yes, it is.
That's Candy, that's actually why I asked that question. Is North
Ah,
America okay? And if it's a polar bear and it's all white and lots of things to tell us about it.
White polar
Okay,
bears
got
on
it.
snow and ice are difficult to shoot, I can tell you that.
Oh. What do you think, Candy?
Didn't we used to have like wildlife or animals or something on there? I know I'm highly predictable.
Uh,
I don't see anything.
yeah, it doesn't seem right.
okay, what would you like? I'll put it as 23.
Well, I just
That's
feel
on the
like
list.
it's springtime and all the babies are coming out. So there's baby birds and baby bears and baby bison and
Humans.
baby humans. So I would like wildlife.
So is it, do you want young wildlife, baby wildlife, just wildlife?
Eh, Just wildlife.
Just white wildlife from above the Arctic Circle?
No, that was
Yeah,
last
yeah,
month. We
yeah,
can't do that.
We blew our timing. I told you last month if I wanted polar bears, but no.
Jump on the,
I know where I'm wanted.
actually, you know, I thought we did that. We used to have a wildlife,
Yeah.
but now we
We
have a
used to have
wildlife.
like pets or something like
Yes.
non-wildlife animals used to be on
Right.
there somewhere as well.
Okay. I wondered if this is. Well, okay, wildlife is number 23.
So it'll be wildlife for both meetings next month then if we meet in
If we
May.
were to move this to June and had, yes, that's a good question. If it turns out that we don't have something in May, because none of you jumped at the chance to be the leader of this, and we were to move it to the next month, we could actually have it twice. I mean, if I get it, I'm sending out this email next week, and if we have a face-to-face and a Zoom, we could have both of those with wildlife. It's probably what we'll have to do the very first time. Okay. Anything else about tonight? I will have these up by tomorrow. What I'm having now is those of you who make it first, second, third, and fourth, I may send you an email asking you, could you tell me a little bit more, a sentence or two about where it was and what it was? Because I don't remember writing it all down, because I'm trying to move to the gallery to simply talk about our photos that made it into the top. In this case, I'll put it all, the top 5 photos. There's 5 or 6 ones. It's 6 photos. I'll put them all in there. And put them all on those of you who use Facebook. They'll be up there tomorrow morning. All righty. Anybody else?